Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Soccer here on the Ankeny Activities Network, built by the Danielle Seifert Real Estate Team. Andy Pollack and Austin Oliver here tonight as we get set for this CIML boys matchup between Dowling Catholic, the Maroons here in town, and the Ankeny Hawks. And Austin, we talked a little bit about just before we went on the air about a little bit of bad taste in the mouth of the Ankeny Hawks, ready tonight to get rolling with this season.
Yeah, last season they had a 1-0 loss to the Maroons and a 3-2 loss from the Maroons, but both games very, very physical. And Dowling's going to be coming in tonight on this kind of a chilly, not too bad, but a little bit chilly, not very much breeze out there, but it should be a good night, nice crisp night to see how these teams match up for their first matchup of the season.
Yeah, the wind has died down considerable. It wasn't a lot earlier, but maybe a little bit of advantage to the team that is going to the right on your screen here tonight. It's, both you and I just came from girls' games, different girls' games that we called. Of course, the Ankeny Hawkettes victorious tonight over Pella 3-0, the final
3-1. 3-1. Gave up a penalty goal right at the very end.
Okay, and then I had Centennial tonight. They beat number 5 Centennial over number 7 Pleasant Valley 1-0 on a late goal by Ava Martin there. So fast start to the soccer season here in Ankeny, and we're here for all of it here on the Ankeny Activities Network, as always built by the Danielle Seifert Real Estate Team. It is time now for our starting lineups, brought to you by Cinerama Ankeny. Cinerama Ankeny is your full-service signing graphics company. They design, produce, and install all types of interior and exterior window clings, signs, and more. Real estate signs, signs for scoreboards, everything you can imagine. Cinerama Ankeny. Visit cinerama-ankeny.com, and it is time now for our starting lineups.
Welcome all to tonight's boys varsity soccer match featuring Dowling Catholic taking on your Ankeny Hawks. First, the starting lineup for Dowling Catholic. Number 3, Nathan Sullivan. Number 5, Ryan Morris. Number 6, Ethan April. Number 7, Santi Ramirez. Number 8, Freddie Alvarez. Number 10, Raymond Molina. Number 11, Josiah Crowder. Number 16, Landon Sullivan. Number 17, Luis Sedano. Number 22, Jonathan Mendes. And in goal, number 0, Ryan Kuhn. Dowling Catholic is led by head coach Jackson Taylor. And now, your starting lineup for Ankeny Hawks. Number 5, Henry McMillan. Number 6, Austin Lundberg. Number 7, Dylan Globiak. Number 8, Jack Krusky. Number 9, Landon Benj. Number 10, Kyle Wahlberg. Number 11, Keaton Cabot. Number 13, Andrew Loder. Number 15, Brandon Buck. Number 19, Ty Muir. And in goal, number 0, Jackson Dockendorf. Ankeny is led by head coach Trevor Fuccio, assisted by Jake Patrick. Refereeing this match are Christopher Cervantes, assisted by Jacob Larson and Joseph Barnes. At this time, we ask you please stand.
No matter how hard I try, I cannot come up with any place I'd rather call home than Ankeny. We raised our family here, so when it came time to downsize, I knew there was no place for me but Ankeny. From unique shops to incredible restaurants, there's always something new to explore, and it's all just a few minutes away. Building my home here with Caliber was one of the best decisions I've ever made. If you're thinking about making a move, let me help you find your perfect home. You'll fall in love with Ankeny just like I have. Let's talk soon.
Dear cable internet, I've met someone I can rely on. who moves my speed and is okay with how much I work. I'm sorry, but US Cellular Home Internet and I just have a stronger connection.
Get connected with US Cellular's home internet for just $39.99 when bundled with a wireless plan, plus a 3-year price lock guarantee. US Cellular, built for us.
West 40 Market in Uptown Ankeny is your place to shop for the best meats, steaks, brats, jerky, and everything in between. Let us be your one-stop shop for all your favorite cuts, all raised on local Iowa farms. Shopping local never tasted so good.
Welcome back. It is Ankeny Hawks and Dowling Catholic Maroons set to do battle here on the pitch at Northview Stadium here tonight. Andy Pollack, Austin Oliver on the Ankeny Activities Network. Built by the Danielle Seifert Real Estate Team, our Game Day Health pregame forecast right now. The Game Day forecast, 46 degrees, feels like 43 with about a 4-mile-an-hour wind out of the north. And I would concur with that. It's barely moving the flag, Austin. So like I said, a little bit of an advantage for the teams going from left to right. And a cool, crisp night, although we've definitely seen a lot worse for soccer weather conditions.
Yeah, spring soccer brings its own little set of variables to each of the matches. But tonight, I think it's going to be pretty even keeled. That wind is not going to be a factor at all, and really for boys and girls of this age, this temperature, once they get the game going, is going to be a non-factor as well. So
you and I sat through a miserable night on Tuesday night to watch the Ankeny Hawkette girls start off with a wind for the season, but just windy and cold.
Yeah.
And they play in anything. As long as it's not lightning, they'll be playing.
Exactly. Snow. We've done some snow games, both as a fan and as a commentator. So I expect this game's going to be a little bit chippy tonight. It's going to be a little rough because it's going to be the first game of real competition for both of these teams. So the form or the shape is going to be a little bit out of control here. And there's going to be some breakdowns, and we're probably going to see a couple breakaways and some goals here. So it'll be an exciting game to get the season started for both these teams.
A couple very close matchups between these teams throughout the years. Dowling Catholic in the white will be the visiting team on the scoreboard here tonight, and they will be going from left to right on your screen. Ankeny in those dark uniforms, and Dowling controls the ball first, and quickly right away you saw as that ball doesn't connect on the first touch, like you mentioned, may happen, and Ankeny's got the ball back right away. We're going to see a lot tonight from Benj, one of the leading goal scorers a year ago for the Ankeny Hawks team, and immediately both these teams out here flying around on the offensive end.
Yeah, Josiah Crowder for the Maroons is coming back off of a 16-goal season. He's going to be the leading offensive kind of weapon for the Maroons, and like you said, Benj is going to be the offensive weapon for the Hawks. That'll be number 9 for the Black as he gets a touch there on the far side, and it'll be number 11 for the All Whites will be Crowder. And you'll see a lot of those two tonight as a centering pass comes in for the Hawks right away.
Just couldn't quite connect, but then right back there again in the middle as they tried to hook up with Krosky and couldn't quite do it. And Dowling thwarts that first attempt here by the Hawks. Again, Krosky tries to wiggle his way in, taken out of there, and a little battle for the ball as Wahlberg has it taken away as well, and now Dowling back on the attack. Ankeny first a little bit of a threat in this game as they push the ball downfield quickly. And immediately, we just see the tempo of this game right now. These guys are out there, they're fresh, they're ready to go. First chance to show off what these teams, what these guys can do for their school teams. So many of these guys play club throughout the course of the year, and they're here tonight to represent their schools. As Hawks try to push it ahead, trying to connect there with Sage. Newhart is who that was.
But you got a whole preseason of them beating on their own teams, so it's going to be a welcome change for them to be able to have a chance to actually go against somebody else, and maybe just ramp up that level of energy and impact here, as they're not going to be going against their own team. If they have an opportunity to hurt somebody on their own team, they can play somebody else here. So
Hawks trying to probe a little bit here on this Dowling defense. They just pass the ball here around the back end, trying to sneak things through the middle. And a little bit of a connection there to Austin Lundberg. Of course, Lundberg had an outstanding season a year ago as well for these Hawks.
at least initially, the defense for the Dowling Maroons looks to be a little bit passive. They're playing off the ball. There's not any pressure on the offensive ball carrier as they move up the field. They're reacting rather than being proactive in that situation. So right now, that's the modus of operandi that they have right now.
Dowling try to cycle things back through on the back end to try to mount some sort of attack on the on offense.
Play continuing here through midfield. Dowling with his first real control in the offensive zone. And went out of bounds on that far side, so it'll be a throw-in for the Hawks. Pinballing around through the midfield. Nobody getting really some sort of control. Hawks finally getting a little bit of control right at midfield.
That ball squirts that to, it's different. These guys practice right now on turf, which is different from a couple of years ago, as they were always, before everything was on grass, and so many teams wanted to practice and play on grass because that's where you played the state tournament down at County, and now everybody's got turf and the ball just moves a little bit differently. It skims across it quite a bit, and it doesn't catch it quite as much with the spin.
It'll be much more aggressive. The ball will look much more aggressive on the ground. They'll have to be a little bit more control when they shoot these passes, and that'll be some of those other mistakes that we'll realize here at the start of the season. Is just you'll see a lot of those passes go completely awry and go just in a crazy direction because they aren't used to playing on these fields yet.
Well, and this turf is a little bit more matted down, I guess, because of the amount of football that's played out here as well. So just a little bit different playing out here on the turf at Northview Stadium. Of course, in a couple weeks, the Derby here in town be a doubleheader between Ankeny and Centennial girls and boys. They'll play that, I believe that's 2 weeks from tonight is when that is. I'll have to look ahead at that eventually, but that'll be always a fun night here in town. Everybody's on sides. Benj down in the corner. Actually, no, they say Benj was off sides, and it looked like he was initially. I didn't see the flag go up, and they got him, and it'll be Dowling now with a goal kick. Dowling has really pushed that defense up as they had the ball. As the Hawks had the ball in that far corner. Benj is more identifiable, not so much by his number, but by that head of blonde hair he's got on top of his head. I'm jealous. I can't do that anymore.
You'd be identifiable in your own way.
Completely different, right? I'd be identifiable as I take oxygen on the bench.
Yeah,
I'd be
exactly.
identifiable.
Exactly, amongst other things.
As we have the Maroons taking the throw in on the far side, and a combination of the glass and the glare off the field, very tough to pick out some of the numbers. There's a lot of contact out there, and you mentioned it in the pregame, and this was going to be a very physical game tonight, and there is a quick indirect free kick there.
So it's a tactic. See, they've got to be 10 yards off that ball. So it's a tactic to take that ball quick to maybe get a cheap penalty off of that ball when they're not inside the 10 foot. So they've got to give that 10 yards. And so it's a tactic to kind of maybe slow down the game and maybe get a cheap penalty in that situation. But a nice free ball opportunity is not a very well struck ball by the Hawks. They're going to want that one back because opportunity-wise, they're not going to get a ton of real good opportunities in a situation like that.
Krosky chases it down on the far end. Will give another opportunity for a throw-in for the Hawks. Battle for the ball in between. And so far the Hawks have kept the ball in their offensive end for the bulk of the night. Now Dowling comes away with one here. Jonathan Mendes pushes it ahead back to the middle of the field. Again, a lot of physical contact out there. And we'll be curious to see because that's not going to stop. And so how is the official going to let it play out? Will this game get more and more physical, or is he going to call all the touches there through the middle of the field?
Yeah, Krosky definitely was a foul there. He acted like he didn't do anything, but he definitely had a forearm shiver there to knock the player off the ball. And that's going to get called almost every time when the focus of the ball being at his feet is going to draw the attention to him from the referee. But Ankeny does a nice job of getting out of there. They got some control as they move up the field.
Spacing, though, early on in the season, you notice it's not just there's not a clump. They have taken some pretty good spacing, trying to put some stress on the defense here through the first 10 minutes of this one. Ball knocked out of there by Newhard. Now Ankeny on the move. They fired ahead down the middle, and Benj can't hang on to it. Mendes back on the move for the Maroons.
Yeah, the key to Benj being effective is getting him in space. So they want to get him rolling off of defenders and making a run and trying to put that ball into open space as Ankeny gives up an early goal here as Dockendorf got pulled away from the goal and chipped right over the top, and the Ankeny defender isn't able to get a touch on that one to get it out. Early score by the Dowling Maroons.
I was waiting for the flag to go up because I thought on the initial pass that he was offsides, but the flag never went up. And that's going to give Dowling the 1-0 lead here, 31-44 to go in the first half. You're right, Dockendorf came out, a lot of contact as Dockendorf came out of the goal and took, off the turf. That bounces there, and it did.
Just a weird play all around there that it was almost like it was in slow motion the way that everything happened there. And Dowling is the recipient of the goal here, and they get an early 1-0 lead.
I didn't see who had it there either for Dowling.
I think it was number 10 got the goal.
Raymond Molina.
I believe so.
I believe that's who it was as well. Now, long run out there and a lot of contact once again down the field.
Ankeny crowd screaming for a penalty. There was almost another penalty there as Benj
has a defender draped all over him.
Benj and his defender are really going at it. He's looking for some help from the referee. Not able to connect up as a little slide pass through there.
Very, very physical game so far.
But Andy, like you said, I think you're exactly right. The referee's got to make sure, and these men's game. Nice little slide through there. Opportunity. Goalkeeper comes out, lays down, and knocks that ball out. But a great opportunity there for the Hawks.
Yeah, Kuhn made a nice play for Dowling as they slide it through once again on sides, and that's going to be a little bit wide there on the attempt.
Andrew Loader with the attack there. But what I was starting to say there is the referee's got to make some decisions on here and keep a handle on this, because you get situations like Benj was in right there. He got pulled on the shoulder. He got pulled on his jersey, but the referee didn't call, so that just builds. So that defender thinks he can get away with that next time, and then adding in some other physicality to it could lead to a pretty bad situation. So we'll look to see how he steps up and starts making his calls here.
Yeah, the possibility of, like you said, the defender taking that thing to the next level, or Benj reciprocating at some point too. There's going to be a lot of that contact out there. How much are they going to be willing to stand for tonight? And coming from girls' games right before we got here, I saw a very physical girls' game before too, between Pleasant Valley and Centennial, and this is matching every bit of that one right now as Dowling tries to probe a little bit more. Quick touch off the foot of Mendes, and now the Hawks on the move. Benj taken away once again. Some chatter between Benj and the defender from Dowling, Sullivan. Maroons, touch comes through. And really that goal is the only time Dowling is really threatened so far.
I was just going to say, I think Ankeny's really controlling the midfield right now. We haven't really had a lot of attacks on either of the offensive ends on either side, except for the goal and then one little attack for Ankeny. But Ankeny definitely is winning the midfield battle right now. Just unfortunately gave up that one ball to get the goal there.
Well, they tried. Benj was trying to create some space for himself, and they tried to go over the top as he was down here on the left side again, once the way through Mendes, and Dockendorf knocks it down, and Dockendorf makes the save. Ball got to Dockendorf's gloves in a hurry.
Yeah, the junior keeper Dockendorf has been at least a 2-year starter, I believe is his second year starting, but does a great job for his club as well. Plays a ton of games in the off season, so experience-wise, he's definitely well versed in experience.
As now the Hawks going to try to set some things up right now. Austin, talk a little bit about through this a little bit. Just looking for angles to pass things up and create an offensive attack.
Absolutely. You kind of think about it as you kind of compare it to basketball. It's that point guard kind of checking over the field, looking to see where there's openings as the other players move around on the court. They move around on the field trying to probe and see what they can find for openings and try to get the ball moved forward. So Ankeny's being very patient on that backfield as they move that ball up. And once again, that Dowling defense is being passive, so it's letting them do that little bit of probing that they need to do.
Our first Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution, Zuber Shah steps in for Ankeny. Or excuse me, that was Dowling that checked in, so that would be Dane Ripma. Checks in for Dowling. There's a lot of maroon out there.
Yeah, Alvarado Solis taken to the bench there, so that was the substitution as we get our first corner kick of the night.
Yeah, once again, thank you to Iowa Rush for sponsoring our corner kicks all season long. IowaRush.com, the premier soccer club in Iowa. Not just Central Iowa, they're all over the place. There's a club for Iowa Rush. If you're anywhere in Iowa, there's a place that you can drive very close to play for Iowa Rush. Corner kick comes in, everything left short, and that's thwarted pretty easily there by the Hawks. Benj battles for it, but Benj would like to get that ball a lot closer to his goal. He doesn't want to have to come all the way down there to get control of that ball. A lot of contact there once again. Taken out of there, now the Hawks in a cycle, but Dowling putting a lot of pressure on that back end of the defense for the Hawks.
Yeah, that passivity that they had early in the game is transferred over to being aggressive, assertive at the defensive point of attack.
A little battle in there for the ball as Molina tries to sneak one through on the run, and Dockendorf comes back out once again. Not a huge threat there for Jackson, but comes out there and gets the ball once again. Just over 25 minutes to go in the first half, Dowling with a 1-0 lead. On the run, trying to sneak one through. They try to get it down here on the corner to Loader. And so far, Dowling has taken away a lot of those passing lanes. Not made it easy to get some of the dudes, so to speak, involved for the Hawks so far. It's not a lot of touches for a guy like Benj. But as you know, once he gets that first little touch, you just see him. He is one of the quickest players in the state. Dowling now setting up their offense on the attack all the way over to the far side. You know, one thing that's interesting here that playing at Northview is we get to have fans on both sides of the field. We don't always get that. Usually all the fans are sitting together when we're doing soccer games. And tonight, really, really nice crowd on hand here for Ankeny. I think if this might have been too many people to host at Ankeny High tonight. This is an outstanding crowd.
We'd like to thank our elite sponsors, All-Star Concrete, Roche Corning, Casey's, Central Brand, Central City,
Trying to push it ahead of Loader once again. Can't connect. Dowling's back in on defense. He's really pressed things up a bunch and kind of making it hard for the Hawks to stay on sides.
Iowa Rush Soccer Club.
Man, that was a cannon. Coming off there from Ripma.
Definitely a weapon from the sidelines.
Think for number 10, Roman Molina.
A little bit of gamesmanship there from 22 on the sidelines. It's Mendes. Thought he was going to get the throw in. He didn't get the throw in, so he just kind of tossed the ball aside. Newhart had stepped up to pick it up, and he threw the ball away from him to slow the game down a little bit.
Battle for the ball controlled out there by Freddie Alvarado Solis. Ripma tries to sneak his way through, and Ahead to Mendes. Mendes makes the connection. Now Dowling on the run. Ripma all the way down the end. And it goes out of bounds. That'll be a free kick opportunity for the Hawks.
That's super indicative of early season. These passes that they're trying to make connections on, especially to the outside, are going to be few and far between that they make that pass perfectly. You get into the third and fourth game of the season where they had a little bit more experience and opportunity to play together as we see a long ball played in for the Hawks. But two Dowling defenders on him almost immediately when the ball hits the ground.
Early on, the first 7 or 8 minutes of this game felt like it was played in the Hawks' end, and lately Dowling much more aggressive, pushing things down into their offensive end. Here's the Hawks on the attack once more. A little move there by Jimenez.
Benj with a breakaway here. He's got him and the goalie.
And skips it over, puts it in the bottom right corner. Benj made an outstanding move on Kuhn to skip it right over top of him and ties this game up at 1.
Yeah, just a nice little single touch, just brought him right down to himself. And like you said earlier in the game, Andy, it doesn't take very much to give him an opportunity to put a ball on goal, and he puts it away into the back of the net.
His move that he made on the Dowling goalkeeper right there at the end to just set it up just enough to get Kuhn to the ground and put it over top of him was a high-level move there from Landon Benj, and he scores his first goal of the year, not even 18 minutes into the season. Man, we've had an entertaining start to this one. 1-1 already. Just over 22 minutes to go in the first half.
And I think, Andy, like you said, I think Dowling was starting to gain some momentum and was starting to push that ball up. The momentum had just shifted a little bit more to their side of the field when, and maybe that's the reason maybe it opened up a little bit on the offensive side for the Hawks is that could be a card there. That's going to be a card, I think. Is he going to reach for the card?
He stopped the clock, so yes, he's going in to
There
get
he
the card.
goes. There comes the card. Hard tackle there on as he was moving away. Didn't get the ball. And may give another card here. We are going to get another card, I think, here as well. He's bringing up the guy who was talking there, and he's either going to give him a strong scolding, but just looks like maybe just one card. And he's still arguing it up here. I think it's number 17. Marquez Sedano took the yellow card, so he'll have to sit down. It'll be able to be replaced on the field with another player, but he'll have to sit down for the duration of the yellow card.
Well, Sedano is the one that got the yellow. He's right back out there.
18.
So he came out and then
Went right back
There was
in.
no other subs that came in,
No.
so now they're back to even out there.
19.
Well, they would be even anyways, because there's never a extra man. So
Well,
even,
right, but they didn't have anybody in. No one went in for him. He just came off after. And I'll have to look. Did that rule change that you don't have to go out for 5 minutes in a yellow
well,
card?
that's crazy if that's the case. So what's the point of even having a yellow card? See, maybe some of our viewers at home are better rules aficionados than what we are up here in the box, but better rules aficionados than what we are up here in the box. But I mean, if they take away the 5-minute penalty for being off the field, it really takes the teeth out of the yellow card call.
John goal number 22, Jonathan Mendes.
The rules changed, actually. It says at the end of 2024 that a player, it just means that you better be careful because if you get that second one, you're kicked out. But no reason to leave the field after the first one.
Really?
That's what I'm reading about right now, so I missed that one.
Yeah, it gives an opportunity to maybe touch on maybe some of the other rule changes this year too, Andy. I think this year gone is the use of the overtime period, and gone is penalty kicks except for the state tournament, or maybe some tournaments would have that where there's placing.
In the postseason leading up to it, yes.
Yeah. As we do have a player down. So, yeah, we can end in ties this year. It will always end in regulation now. If it's a tie, it's a tie.
Clock continues to run. It has not been stopped yet, even though
Have a player
Dowling
down.
coach Jackson Teeling is heading out onto the field, and he's waiting there right at midfield. He's got a player that looks like he's going to be okay, and that was Mendes. And he will take a free kick now from about 40 yards out.
And in
38 yards out.
typical soccer fashion, he's up and ready to go.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
And Coach Teeling did not seem to be too concerned about getting out there to check on him. It's coming through on the free kick and knocked out of there by the Hawks. On the defensive end, Mendes on the move once again as they try to center things.
Yeah, because I believe if the trainer comes out, he'd have to step out of the game. And with what we saw transpire after he got up, he was actually going to be the one to be taking the penalty shot there. So the free kick from there. So he probably definitely wanted to keep Mendes in there to take that free kick as we get a penalty on the Ankeny offensive side. Looked like maybe a handball or a foul there. So we're going to get a free kick for the Hawks right at about the 35-yard line.
This will be a good opportunity on a set piece here from Ankeny because as they sit out there from, like you said, about 45 yards out, and, with a foot coming off the foot, an opportunity for maybe to knock a header in or sneak behind that defense.
Yeah, pretty much all the set pieces that we've seen so far have been pretty poor in execution. This ball is a
Well
way
placed.
better ball.
Oh, man, he put that right where it needed to be. Second opportunity there. Benj can't quite knock it through as Kuhn gets another save.
Benj had that fall right at his feet, right at the goal line of the football field there, and it had a quick shot, but just lined it right up with the goalkeeper, and goalkeeper pretty much had nothing to do but catch that ball.
More contact. Ball goes back to Ankeny.
Oh, here we got another pay. Here's the yellow card. He just got himself a yellow card. The ball was in place for where the penalty happened at, and the Dowling player kicked the ball out of the spot, and he stopped the clock there, didn't he? I thought
He did stop the clock.
I thought that was a penalty, or going to be called the
I never
yellow
saw
card.
I never saw the card come
He
out
did
though.
not. Did give him a sharp rebuke there
And
at
that's Mendes
midfield.
again, who's already
Yes.
had a couple sharp rebukes by our official. His ball rolls in there. Another opportunity for the Hawks.
Joshua English, so that's Jimenez for the
Jimenez,
Hawks.
yeah.
Yep, into the game for the first time.
Hawks going to cycle things around now. Try to space things out. Now they're taking a good shape on the defensive end. Looking to make an attack as they slide things through the middle and then come back out once again and run things through the foot of Dylan Gloviak. Battle for the ball as they send it across. Who create some space over here on the near side.
Yeah, it looks like Dowling is playing a three-man back line, and then the defending midfielders on the far sides are kind of a secondary line of defense. They'll drop back if they need to, but maybe four-man here. I guess now that I see it developing right there, it looks like a four-man
So
back
it's four-man
line.
with that fifth defender dropping back in on the back end. Dowling sneaks it through once again as
Solid tackle.
play through. Ball was made contact with first.
Chip shot over the top of the defense there. Does get over the top of the defense.
Dowling pushing things down on the far side. Not quite sure who that is. They then get it back out to Crowder.
I think it's Mendes out there with the control from Dowling is who had the ball on the far side.
Now the Hawks.
Opportunity
looking back
for
to
a
go the other
counterattack,
way, yeah.
yep.
And that's how both teams have scored their goals so far. They get that run-out opportunity. And in transition is what you'd call it with some other sports. And trying to sneak one through here. Opportunity. Oh, he snuck
heel
it through.
kick.
Benj on the run-out.
Benj has got his by beats. Little strong on the first touch.
Just got out in front of him as Kuhn makes another save. But Benj, man, he just gets this crowd excited when he touches that soccer ball.
I'll tell you, it's the first two steps. It's the first two steps, and there's nobody quicker on the field right now in those first two steps to get around that defender, because the defender was cooked. Just a little bit of a too strong of a touch on that first ball there, or he would have had himself probably another goal.
Now the Hawks trying to take a lead here, take their first lead of the season. They lose possession as they couldn't quite connect on the foot of Jimenez. Dowling now on the attack, and Dowling, very defensive-minded set here by Dowling. As as they're looking for run-out opportunities, not doing much here offensively. As they're going to cycle the ball back around through the foot of Ethan April. Back to middle and knocked out of there once again by the Hawks. So a little back and forth right now. Maybe this might be a little bit more what you were expecting to see, Austin, in some of these early season games.
Yep.
A couple more Hearts of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitutions for Dowling coming in the game. Raymond Molina checks in, as well as Landon Umtham.
Number 14, Landon Umtham. Replacing number 16, Landon Sullivan.
So the quick whip down the sideline, and Dowling connects, tries a no-look pass through, and now Benj. Quick move once again taken away from him.
Now, we forgot to mention on that, just that attack that Benj had, the nice little heel kick that was sent in. I'm not sure who that was there, but it was a beautiful little, he kind of moved away from the offensive zone and then heel kicked it as Benj came through there, and Benj just exploded onto the ball. So nice little assist potential as the Hawks got that ball on goal.
Dowling dribbling around a little bit out there is Molina back into the game. And they're going to cycle back through, try to connect one through in there off the foot of Mendes. Pushes it ahead, Molina. Molina dekes a couple shots and then has it taken away. Now on the counter, here come the Hawks. Oh, just a little bit out in front of the foot of Loader.
Yeah, that was Benj back there playing defense too. Good to see him being on both sides of the ball, being a contributor.
Dowling now working things back through the foot of Molina. Takes a big swing up off the head, and look out, and coming out to get it just in time is Dockendorf. Under 13 minutes to play in this one, or in the first half of this one here tonight, the opener for both these Central Iowa Metro League teams. It'll be a grind of a season for the teams in the CIML.
Yeah, Mendes is definitely the quarterback out there for the offense. They're very dependent on him to instigate that offense, kind of from that attacking midfielder spot. He's definitely surveying the field and trying to find that option to get those shots on goal.
Hawks go to attack. They try to push things ahead and trying to sneak back on side. There was Loader.
Nice little miss kick there by the Dowling goalie, but they're able to come out on top there.
As the Hawks going to set things up once again. And I was just about to mention before, their spacing had really taken good shape. You don't see that so much early in the season because a lot of times the wind has a lot to do with it, and you can't connect on some of the long passes. But you notice here tonight, the Hawks very well spaced out, putting some pressure on that Dowling defense. Ripma to take the throw in. A little connection there off the foot of Krosky. And coming back the other way, Maroons now on the attack. Molina goes down through, tries to get it ahead, and they said he was onside, so if he would have been able to connect that one with Crowder would have had a chance, but now it'll be a free kick for Dockendorf, and he just leaves it short. Back on the air tomorrow morning, Austin. I'll have the Centennial girls game against Dallas Center Grimes at 10, and then at noon you will have Ankeny, and now I'm trying to remember, Ankeny takes on Pleasant Valley, correct?
Okay.
That's what you'll have at noon tomorrow as we continue our diving headfirst into the soccer season. 5 games in the first 4 days, or 6 games in the first 4 days of the soccer season here in Ankeny.
Foul on Dowling.
Hawks draw a foul on the far side.
Yeah, who was down over there? Went down hard.
Jimenez. Yep, number 1. What was the final score for the Centennial Pleasant Valley?
1-0.
1-0? Centennial?
Yep, Centennial won on a goal with about 6.5 minutes left from Ava Martin.
Ava Martin. Not surprised. He's been a goal scorer for them for quite a few years.
Long time. A senior heading to Missouri Western next year to play soccer. Really a nice event. It's a nice history of this event of the Ankeny Crosstown Classic. So the bunch of schools come in. They have college coaches all over the place. It's really billed as a recruiting event, and each team plays 2 games in 2 days. Nice early season test. A lot of good teams in the 8 teams in that one. A lot of good soccer being played on the girls'
that'll
side.
be that was a 5-7 matchup this afternoon,
Yes.
right, between Pleasant Valley and Centennial at number 5, and then tomorrow will be a number 1 ranked Ankeny up
Yes.
against number 7 Pleasant Valley. So that'll be another test for them as well.
That
I
Ankeny, that Ankeny team that you've seen them a couple times so far, but it's going to be really hard for teams to score goals on that
It
Ankeny team
absolutely
this
will
year.
be. But I mean, that's their blueprint. It's been the blueprint since Simon Brown's been there, is that they play suffocating defense and they get just enough goals to get them a win. So
Well, with a player like Allie Mackey, you've
yeah,
got
absolutely.
several chances to get those goals.
Yeah, she had 2 goals tonight, and then Isabel Squire had her second goal. She scored the lone goal the game against Cedar Falls, but then added another one tonight there to give her 2 goals on the season.
Just watched Squire on the track here last night. She was running around this exact same track. There's some very talented multi-sport athletes. I love that the coaches work together to allow that to happen.
Benj threatening here, but the defense steps up and
Drew a lot of attention there. He had 4 Dowling defenders all around him when he touched that ball. We try to work the ball back to the middle once again. Benj sets things up. Just not much space for him to operate right there when he gets the ball in the middle of the field. They push it ahead once again, and it's knocked out of there by the Maroons.
Camden Ganal into the game as well, number 23. He's on the near side here.
Another look out. Benj was onside if they could connect it.
One of the substitutions we missed here. Looks like we got Michael Sage going to be coming into the game, as well as Cale Austin coming into the game here at the next blown whistle.
Hawks trying to figure out a way, and the worst thing that could possibly happen tonight, Austin, is these 2 teams who have a great tradition of soccer between both schools, is that this would somehow find a way to end in a tie.
Yeah.
That would be not be good. This is 2 teams that want to win this game very badly to start the year.
Yeah, Benj with a beautifully weighted ball into Jimenez, and Jimenez just wasn't able to capitalize on that ball into him.
Dowling back on the attack, knocked out of there by the Hawks. Big swing and knocked out of there by McMillan.
And they'll take it out of bounds. They can reset their defense. Those are substitutions coming in for the Hawks. Sage and Austin coming into the game.
18, Michael Sage.
They're parts of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half here as
Coming in for Dowling, number 16, Landon Sullivan. Number 7,
very
Sandy
entertaining first 20 minutes of this one as each team was able to knock in a goal. And it's still been up and down the field right now, just no one able to really connect.
I'd like to thank more of our sponsors.
That's Ramirez and Sullivan, I believe, back into the lineup for the Maroons. Ramirez for sure. I think Sullivan snuck in there as well.
Olive Garden.
Trying to work things in the middle here for Dowling Crowder, and he has it taken away from him.
The Concrete Company. The Insurance Station. Karaoke House.
And
Van Wall
Ankeny now on the attack. You just kind of saw the wave starting to come across the field right now. Nice move there, and coming up, knocking out of there was the Maroons. Nice job there on the back end. Ethan April for the Maroons has had some big stops as Dowling pushes ahead once again, weaving through everybody and sneaking into the goal on the back end. And I think that
Number
was
11.
Crowder, Josiah Crowder. He avoided the defender right there just inside the penalty box and got another one past Dockendorf here with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Crowder just kind of shot out of a cannon when he got that ball.
Yeah, Liddy's goal scorer. He came into this game with 16 goals last year, so he definitely knew that he was going to be one of the threats coming into the game tonight. But Ankeny had really two defenders kind of in that vein. He just wiggled his way through there and got enough of a shot on goal to get it past Dockendorf. 2-1.
So Judd Berger now checking into the game for Dowling, another Hearts of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution. And the last time the Maroons had a goal, Ankeny was quick to respond. So we'll see what the game plan is here and what they'll do when they have the ball back. Right now, just trying to look for some openings in that Dowling defense.
So the Hawks have flexed a little bit of the shape that they were in. They brought Kobo over to the near side and moved Ganal over to the far side. So we'll see number 11 touching the ball here. We haven't seen him over here on the near side so far in the game as a long ball's taken in from Dowling. And I think he's going to get on that before it gets out of bounds. So he'll have an opportunity to go one-on-one with his defender.
He did. This is Mendes.
Mendes well defended by number 7 for the Hawks. Gloviak stuck right in front of him, just kept his eye on the hips, wasn't going for any of the dekes, and is able to defend that ball and let them take it right out of bounds.
Dylan's been a fun athlete to watch in a couple different sports, and he was all over that. Hawks on the move once again. They push it ahead. Let Benj, as they leave it in front of him, Benj back to the middle of the field. Sneaks through, and it's knocked out of there. Ball hanging up in the air a long time. Everybody's just kind of looking around for a lot of people fighting, but no one actually going after the ball. And coming out of there to get it one more time is Kuhn. Kuhn came a long ways out of the goal there, but he had to do it. If he let that ball hit the ground one more time, I think you might be looking at an open net for the Hawks.
Cale Austin, the sophomore forward, was right there trying to figure out what to do with that ball.
Cycle back through Dockendorf in his Tar Heel blue goalie uniform here tonight for the Hawks. They like to just leave that ball out for Benj to run it down. Yeah, that's knocked out of bounds, and this will be. We'll see who the Hawks bring in to throw, because you can, with the right thrower right now, this could very much mimic a corner kick.
Absolutely.
And it looks like they're going to have. I didn't see who went in. That ball was through the upright.
Yeah, number 11 took the throw in, but just threw in short and gave Jimenez a nice little shot there. But it was a little full of the shot. Did that go off something? What the heck? They call that a corner kick. What the heck? I did not see anybody touch that at all.
No one seemed to argue with it. That ball went all the way out the back of the stadium.
Well, so maybe that's why it did that. But I didn't see anybody touch that ball. But Jimenez is over there taking the corner kick for Iowa Rush.
Oh, that was it. There was an opportunity there on the back end. It snuck through. Everybody changed the angles up. Put a lot of pressure on Kuhn.
Yeah, I think that was Candy Ganal making the run on the far post there, but just isn't able to get enough contact to get that ball ricocheted back towards the goal. Could have been a great opportunity for Ankeny to knot this one up at 2.
Long ball in as we approach the 2-minute mark here of the first half.
I think that was really one of the most promising set pieces that they've had all night. They've had a couple opportunities. They really hadn't been able to do anything very positive with that. So it's good for the Hawks to kind of build on that play to maybe go and use that later in the game to come back to that play.
Well, and what little wind there is out here, they will have at their back in the second half as they switch sides. Hawks trying to slide one through, and it's knocked out of there once again, thwarted by Louis Mendes Sedano. Pushing ahead, Benj was onside that time. Benj still hustling over to get it, keeps it in, and back to Dowling. Cycled around back through here, Henry McMillan with a couple touches.
Got some space here to see what he can do. Still space here as they take it to the outside. Still a lot of space here as nobody's stepping up to cover those. And we got a runner here.
Dowling had pressed their whole back end all the way up to about the 35 yards out.
Got a touch on it? No. Goal
No
kick.
touch,
I mean, goal kick.
there. Dowling has really pushed up their defense. In fact, I thought one of the guys broke a little bit early. Otherwise, they were really setting a trap to get the Hawks set up off sides. And we saw one of the defenders break a little bit early. As Kuhn gets a huge foot into that one. Whew. Heard an unmistakable sound of a soccer ball on skin.
Yeah.
Look
Ball
out.
trickles through to the Ankeny D, and they are having trouble controlling it.
Time ticking down right now as we approach 10 seconds.
Looks like Dowling's going to be okay to just
Take that lead into the halftime break, and they will do just that with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and that's going to do it for the end of the first half. So Austin initially, Dowling scores, Ankeny comes back with another score of their own, and then Dowling comes back with another score. So a couple nice moves, good finishes. We'll talk a little bit more about those when we come back on our halftime show after this here on the Ankeny Activities Network, built by the Danielle Seifert Real Estate Team.
Our phones were made to help us connect, and somehow they've made us less connected.
Which is ironic, don't you think? Oh, I love this song so much.
Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Garage Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
What if you could create memories that would last a lifetime? That would be pretty cool. Well, now you can.
Phones were made to help us connect, and somehow they've made us less connected.
Which is ironic, don't you think?
We try to put our phones down, but we need to pick them up to see the menu.
We can't watch something without also watching something else.
Ironic.
Ironic. But look, here's a phone company who wants you to use your phone less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way. Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Traffic jam. Ugh, and I'm already late.
Look, here's a phone company who wants us to use our phones less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way. Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
It's a free ride. But I already paid.
We're here at US Cellular, Frost Days, where our customers get exclusive deals just for them. It's like we got our own special club. Should we show them?
Get $1,200 off any phone plus $500 off any tablet. Us Days at US Cellular.
Estate team knows that sports and extracurricular activities contribute to a well-rounded education. As an Ankeny mom, I have seen how important they are for success in school and beyond. I've been helping families here for over 20 years as a realtor, and I know that our schools and community activities are second to none. That's why people love to call Ankeny home, and that's why I am a supporter. If I can help you or anyone you know find the perfect home in Ankeny or the Metro, let's talk. And now it's time to cheer on our kids.
Dear cable internet, I've met someone I can rely on. who moves my speed and is okay with how much I work. I'm sorry, but US Cellular Home Internet and I just have a stronger connection.
Get connected with US Cellular's home internet for just $39.99 when bundled with a wireless plan, plus a 3-year price lock guarantee. US Cellular, built for us.
West 40 Market in Uptown Ankeny is your place to shop for the best meats, steaks, brats, jerky, and everything in between. Let us be your one-stop shop for all your favorite cuts, all raised on local Iowa farms. Shopping local never tasted so good.
My real estate team knows that sports and extracurricular activities contribute to a well-rounded education. As an Ankeny mom, I have seen how important they are for success in school and beyond. I've been helping families here for over 20 years as a realtor, and I know that our schools and community activities are second to none. That's why people love to call Ankeny home, and that's why I am a supporter. If I can help you or anyone you know find the perfect home in Ankeny or the Metro, let's talk. And now it's time to cheer on our kids.
Back here on the Ankeny Activities Network, Andy Pollock, Austin Oliver, Grady Anderson here tonight as we are high atop Northview Stadium. Dowling Catholic right now with a 2-1 lead at the halftime break. Austin, it was really a fast start for Dowling, and really the pace of the game was torrid from the very beginning. Dowling scores a goal, you get an answer from Ankeny, and then Dowling gets another one in right before the end of the break.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I mean, for first game of the year, usually we see a little bit more just kind of a filthy play, you know, like not filthy in a way of like dirty play, but just not really cohesive passes. But I think both teams have you know, shown some connectivity, have shown great shape, have shown great communication. So I've been pretty excited to see that happening, and looking forward to the second half and seeing if they can get this one tied up and maybe take a lead.
We'll take another break and talk a little bit about what to expect to see in the second half when we come back with that. Right after this on the Ankeny Activities Network, built by the Danielle Seifert Real Estate Team.
Our phones were made to help us connect, and somehow they've made us less connected.
Which is ironic, don't you think? Ugh, I love this song so much.
Let's find us again with Us Mode. US Cellular, built for us.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Garage Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to, you know, an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
Look, here's a phone company who wants us to use our phones less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way. Let's find us again with Us Mode. US Cellular, built for us.
It's a free ride, but I already paid.
What if you could create memories that would last a lifetime? That would be pretty cool. Well, now you can.
Phones were made to help us connect, and somehow they've made us less connected.
Which is ironic, don't you think?
We try to put our phones down, but we need to pick them up to see the menu.
We can't watch something without also watching something else.
Ironic. But look, here's a phone company who wants you to use your phone less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way. Let's find us again with Us Mode. US Cellular, built for us.
Traffic jam. Ugh, and I'm already late.
No matter how hard I try, I cannot come up with any place I'd rather call home than Ankeny. We raised our family here, so when it came time to downsize, I knew there was no place for me but Ankeny. From unique shops to incredible restaurants, there's always something new to explore, and it's all just a few minutes away. Building my home here with Caliber was one of the best decisions I've ever made. If you're thinking about making a move, let me help you find your perfect home. You'll fall in love with Ankeny just like I have. Let's talk soon.
Dear Cable Internet, I've met someone I can rely on, who moves my speed and is okay with how much I work. I'm sorry, but US Cellular Home Internet and I just have a stronger connection.
Get connected with US Cellular's home internet for just $39.99 when bundled with a wireless plan, plus a 3-year price lock guarantee. US Cellular, built for us.
West 40 Market in Uptown Ankeny is your place to shop for the best meats, steaks, brats, jerky, and everything in between. Let us be your one-stop shop for all your favorite cuts, all raised on local Iowa farms. Shopping local never tasted so good.
My real estate team knows that sports and extracurricular activities contribute to a well-rounded education. As an Ankeny mom, I have seen how important they are for success in school and beyond. I've been helping families here for over 20 years as a realtor, and I know that our schools and community activities are second to none. That's why people love to call Ankeny home, and that's why I am a supporter. If I can help you or anyone you know find the perfect home in Ankeny or the Metro, let's talk. And now it's time to cheer on our kids.
We're here at US Cellular, Frost Days, where our customers get exclusive deals just for them. It's like we got our own special club. Should we show them?
Get $1,200 off any phone plus $500 off any tablet. Us days at US Cellular.
Ready to start the second half. Ankeny will get the ball here. They will be now going to the right side of the screen in their dark uniforms. From up here, also a little maroon on the front and all black on the back. I think that's what those uniforms are.
I think so, yeah. I think it may even be stripes on the front.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a optical illusion because you see some of the guys. It's almost like you have two different teams out there in dark uniforms because you got the maroon coming at you and the black going away. Hawks trying to tie this one back up. Dowling tries to pass one through, can't quite connect. Actually, they do. Mendes, and taken back out of there one more time. And as you look, what sort of adjustments do you talk about, Austin? In the break, I saw a couple of the coaches talking to individual guys about things. I imagine a lot more of it has to do with what you're doing on the defensive end.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the tendencies they're going to be looking at that they follow through on the first half. Obviously, they're going to come into it with a game plan, and they're going to see how closely they work to that game plan of what they thought was going to be happening. So you're going to have to make adjustments on the fly, but then halftime actually gives everybody a chance to kind of get together and build that new game plan. But the other team's doing exactly the same thing, so they're probably switching some things up too. So.
Yeah, soccer's different where you can't really take an opportunity, you can't take a timeout to bring everybody in and talk about what they're doing and make adjustments off that. So it's a lot of, in fact, a night like tonight you can't hear as well as when we're at Ankeny or when we're at Centennial. Can hear so much of the coaching go on. You can't hear that quite as much here on the sideline because we're further away.
But yeah, with the substitutions, that's when you get the opportunity to switch things around. The coach will be flip-flopping players maybe from the left side to the right side. They'll just switch spots to try to maximize one-on-one opportunities just to see how some of those players match up with each other. But referee stopped play there because he had allowed a substitution. And they're looking to get that substitution off the field right now. That's an early substitution.
Yeah, very early.
Just 2 minutes into the game. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but maybe some extra last-minute instructions where the coach wanted to talk to one of the starters just a little bit more as they went into the half.
Dowling tries to push one through, but so run out there, leaves it out there. Nice job by Gloviak to go up there and knock it down. Gloviak just has some savviness about him on the defensive end. We've seen it on the basketball court and out here tonight on the soccer pitch. Sneaking through Benj, off the noggin. He'll set things up, create some space on the right side. A little touch over here by Cabot.
But I think the thing that you see that even when Benj is bringing the ball back towards his own goal, the attention that he's drawing are still opening up quite a few opportunities for his teammates on that front side, because all the attention, so much attention going towards him.
And the ball rolls out the back end of the pitch. Will be an opportunity for another goal kick for Kuhn. Teams traded goals early, and then Dowling took the 2-1 lead with a couple minutes left in the first half. Now the Maroons back on the attack on the far side. This is Molina.
Get an opportunity to say a shout out. I think Grandpa and Grandma Dockendorf are watching the game. The goalkeeper's grandparents are watching from afar tonight, so welcoming them into the broadcast tonight as well.
Glad that you could welcome us into your living rooms tonight, or your cars, or wherever you're watching us at here. And thanks to all the great businesses that make it possible to bring Ankeny and Centennial Athletics to you. As Dowling continues now to try to find an opening in that defense, slide it through to Molina, and then knock back out once again, and right off the toe here of Alvarado Solia.
Oh, nice run there, and they get another goal as a sliding header. I think he even might have touched that twice as it went right past Dockendorf, as Dockendorf got frozen.
But it was Mendes that got the goal.
But a beautifully weighted assist ball in there, and Mendes went down, slid, headed it once, bounced it again. I think he put another head on it as it went into the goal. But Jimenez has been threatening all night. 3-1 lead here for the Dowling Maroons.
And there just wasn't much on it after that second header, but it was enough to find its way into the back of the goal. And from up here, I thought it must have been wide because no one was reacting to it.
Beautiful goal by Mendes.
So now Ankeny back on the attack again, trying to find a way to get some points on the board. They put one out way ahead and try to run it down there with Cabot.
One of the players on the field lost his shoe, lost his boot, I think you would say in soccer terms, on that play. But he's got it back on.
Way down in the corner, you see our cameraman Brady. Nothing there.
No call. A lot of there was a back pressure there from the player who was receiving the ball and went down, and referee deemed it as either a dive or wasn't enough for the penalty. But
and some more chatter out there with our official and the players. One of the greatest things, I just heard it now, coming from the Ankeny side as that happened. You heard someone yell out, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
not usually how you voice your displeasure with an official's call or non-call, as it was in this sense. Ankeny trying to solve this defense right now. See if they can create some space for Benj. But Dowling's defense is held up pretty strong here. And they did call a foul back here on the other end, so Dowling will have a free kick all the way back here, deep in their own end. Maroons push it all the way across the field.
yeah, referee was allowing them to play advantage, and then when the ball was starting to roll out of bounds off of Sullivan's feet, referee finally blew the whistle. But Sullivan's right now got an opportunity and some space here. Has a little miss kick on the first attempt there, but knocks it off of the shin of the Ankeny defender, and it'll be a throw-in for the Maroons.
Ooh, that ball almost snuck through. It's out of bounds once again, and another throw in for Dowling. You see some of the English put on the ball when they throw this thing in. You see it curved around. You see that a lot of time off the foot. Don't see it as much when you're throwing the ball in.
A nice little ball there from number 6 for the Hawks, Lundberg. He's on the ball again. He's got some space.
Push it ahead, but Dowling defense is back there once again. Maroons push it ahead down here on the corner. That is Ramirez. As now the Hawks take it out. Hawks on the attack. Wahlberg.
Ooh, Benj has a drop kind of in front of him here. He's going to try to beat that outside defender.
Benj slides it through, but Kuhn's right there to get another save.
Shot goal 9, Landon Benj.
They love to get the ball over to Benj on that left side. Let him put the ball off his right foot. I feel like some of the physicality has maybe died down a little bit. These teams came out, and I think the official did a good job of taking control of some things early on. And you mentioned, like, at what point do you stop calling things? But I think the players have adjusted to it and got a pretty clean game since the first couple minutes.
There's going to be a throw-in for Dowling. Is that what they called? I think they called a throw-in. Yeah, it looks like it.
Down in the corner, yeah. Set things up here again defensively, cycle things around the back end. Try to get to the middle, but big foot out there by Lundberg. Dowling some quick touches. Nobody holds on to that ball very long at all. And another one here as they push it ahead, giving a chance for a run out here for Sullivan, and it's taken away by Gloviak.
Yeah, but some nice connectivity for the Maroons as they were able to matriculate that up the field fairly easily with the pinpoint surgical passes as Dowling once again threatening here right in front of the goal. Ankeny just throws about 6 players right at where the ball's at, and they're able to get it out of there. But Dowling gets the ball back, still threatening.
Sullivan, there is not much to Landon Sullivan out there for Dowling, but he looks like what I imagine Benj looked like is maybe a 5th grader.
Yeah. Well, Sullivan is a freshman.
I know,
so
yes.
He's starting as a freshman. So
he's not backing down from anything out there.
That'll lead one of the first corner kicks here for the second half for the Dowling Maroons.
Again, good time to talk about Iowa Rush, the soccer club. Coach Artist over there and his entire crew. Always fun to talk with them and seeing what's going on in soccer, not just around Central Iowa, but around the entire state and in actually the entire country. Iowa Rush, one of the largest soccer clubs in the entire country. Rush, I should say. Iowa Rush, obviously right here, but Rush is a huge club. That one slides all the way through and out the back end on the other side, and they say that will be a goal kick for the Maroons, for Ankeny.
Nice ball from Mendes, just couldn't get anybody to connect up on the end, but traveled all the way to the far side to give a good opportunity for somebody making a run there to the far post to get a touch on it, but nobody was there.
Number 2, Danny Brickman. In for Ankeny, number 1, Brian Jimenez.
Jimenez checks back into the game for the Hawks, and another Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Trying to push one through, trying to get it over here on the near side to Krosky. And now Krosky, but actually that's not Krosky anymore, that is Cabot. Tries to push it up through the middle. Stop and go move on the far side. It's taken away by the Maroons. Back into the middle as they try to connect up some passes right now. As Ankeny has not had a lot of extended possessions. They try to push one ahead here down the right side. Trying to connect it down there with Loader. And it's going to get kicked back and go out of bounds once again, and that will go back to Dowling. The possessions have not lasted very long right now for the Hawks. Quick move there as they try to slide things back to the middle, but again, Dowling knocks it away. Ooh, ball right up off the face of Mendes.
Well, Ankeny's doing really well in the midfield, but they're having trouble as they move into the offensive part of the zone there. They're having trouble making that last connection.
Here's a good move. Here's a look, and coming over to get it. Coon lost it initially and gathered it back in. Huge opportunity right there for the Hawks. I think it was Newhard. These guys in this colder weather right now, those legs can start to feel it. If you start to walk a little bit, you might start to see cramping become a thing here tonight. Usually think about that more with hot weather, but the cold weather, the second that you stop moving around and start walking, you can really feel that in your muscles. Hawks can't be too patient right now. Obviously, tough road to hoe here in the next 26 minutes. They push one ahead, just trying to continue to find Benj in the middle of the field. And Benj looks like he's found the weight room in this offseason. He looks like a much bigger physical player out there than he was a year ago. A lot of contact out there again. Nothing called again. Ankeny fans in front of us waiting for it. I'm not so sure they didn't have a gripe there.
Yeah. Especially on the ball. When you're knocking them off the ball as the odd offensive player, that usually is a pretty easy call to make.
Long kick ahead again, letting Benj try to run this one down, but the Maroons have been right alongside him all night. That time it was Ethan April. That's another throw in for the Hawks. Ooh, tried to sneak one through, but right there, Dowling defense closed in a hurry. You could see that path open up. Great from our angle.
Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital. Substitution umped them into the game, number 14 for the Maroons.
Back in the game, got a couple minutes earlier on. Dowling trying to run out once again. But right there is Krosky. The tempo from early in the game, you see conditioning starting to play a little bit more of a factor right now, because early on you had everybody flying all over the place, and the tempo slowed down a little bit here as the game has gone on.
I think it slowed down a lot just in the last probably 5-10 minutes here. Definitely both teams being a little bit more patient on the ball.
Battle for the ball there is trying to keep it down on the Hawks end is Mendes. Battle for the ball, it's out of bounds. It will go to Dowling. Throw in coming up here for the Maroons. It'll be Umtham. And the throw in is going to send the ball actually back over to Dowling as the foot was on the line there. You heard everybody yell for it right away as it happened too, and the ref was right there to call it. Little touch there. Jimenez, quick move. Jimenez leaves it out in front and couldn't quite knock it through to Benj.
Broke some ankles there as he was making that first initial move.
Hawks with a little spark here offensively, starting to move around a little bit more on the offensive end. Pressing their shape forward. It leaves it up again for Benj. Benj
Got
takes
touch
it
on
through,
it!
and another
There he
goal
goes!
for Benj. Just like that, as he snuck through, Benj gets his second goal of the night here with 23:40 to go in the second half. He can change the tide of things in such a hurry.
Just an immediate burst of energy and just athleticism and happened so quick.
You kind of felt things shift a little bit there in that last possession. The Hawks started to move around a little bit more, a little extra burst to them down there on the offensive end. And that was the first time really offensively we saw them able to take a really good attack at the goal.
I mean, really, just 2 minutes before the goal was scored was when things just looked a little bit different as they connected up with those passes. So that makes things much more interesting as they've notched another goal up there for the Hawks and got it to 2-3. And here comes Dowling right back in and
nice job there,
right at the top of the key.
Yeah, knocked out of there, though. I think that was Wahlberg that got a foot on it as Dowling was trying to slide one through.
But now does this give the Hawks enough life to be able to get things going here and get some momentum going their direction? We'll see in the next couple minutes as still a ton of time on the clock here. Thought we were closer to the end of the game there than look up there and there's still...
Well, I think the fact that you can end in a tie has brought a little more... I've seen it in a couple girls' games so far, that the fact that you can end in a tie has brought a little more urgency to the end of the game because neither team wants to end in a tie.
Nice moves there. Mendes with a touch. Just too heavily weighted. Mendes, you got to just settle down there a little bit. Nice little run up there. Had some opportunity and some space. Just got to have a little bit more touch on that ball. But another one of the early season situations that you have. It's just hard to get the right touch on these balls to get them into an effective spot. Nice job of Coble to be able to get a nice little touch to. And here we go again. Benj is on a tear here. Got somebody behind him, knocks that player down, and just got too far down there, too hard of an angle to get a good shot on goal and puts it off the side of the goal.
And I didn't see who the Maroon defender was, but he did a good job of just hanging, not trying to cut him off, but just hanging out between the goal. And like you said, it just forced Benj to take away the angle. Just didn't have much of a chance to finish it off.
Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution. That's Camden Ganal back into the game. Number 23. But another good set of pressure here for the Hawks. Could have very easily knotted up the score there with a great pressure from Benj.
Just looking a year ago, Benj had 14 goals. He's had a great start to topping that number this year, with 2 already here in the home opener tonight. Mendes with some quick moves. You said he's out there breaking ankles.
And that's up against Mendes, who's been one of the more technical players that we've seen on the pitch so far tonight.
Ankeny continues to try to attack. Now, their offense has been much better here the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game. Another chance here again.
Benj
tries to sneak it through. Here's Benj.
Oh, that was really close.
You can see that take shape from up here. They just like to leave it just out in front of him. Benj, very good timing to wait till that ball is passed over the top before he just looks like he's shot out of a cannon. Trying to sneak it through. Here he is again. Oh, they had an opportunity there. They tried to sneak it through. Looked like he was trying to connect with Newhart. But you just feel some of this momentum starting to come over the Ankeny side right now. Mendes knocks it out. It's knocked down by Jimenez. Again, Jimenez is right there. Everywhere Mendes tries to hit it. Might need some ice on that boy tonight.
Oh, I think a shin guard I saw just go flying is laying on like the 15-yard line. There's a shin guard that came off of somebody's leg. I think it was one of the Dowling players that had to go right off of his. Got a nice little breakout here. He's going to pop that one back to.
Wow.
Nice
stop and go move right
I think
there.
everybody thought he was taking it back to Dockendorf, and he just stopped on a dime.
That was Gloviak.
Ooh, nice.
All right, here we
Quick
go.
pass for
Some
Loader.
space.
Loader with a touch. Oh, tried to get a centering pass over to Benj and just wasn't there. But referee's going to go over and grab that shin guard. Somebody's missing a shin guard out there right now.
He's going to find out who.
Yeah, I saw that thing go flying up in the air.
Flying out of somebody's sock.
I think it's 22. I think it might be Mendes.
Raymond Molina. Number 13, Judd
A couple
Burgess.
more substitutions coming to the game as well. Under 20 minutes to go as the intensity level in this one is amped up here in this second half.
Yeah, shin guards are required equipment for these guys. At the pro level, they'll try to have it be the smallest shin guard that they can do because they've kind of done away with it. Beat on those shins so much they don't even really need them anymore. But I think the referee's required to stop play to get that back in there.
Dowling has it taken away.
Oh!
Set up here. Benj was trying to sneak his way through. He's still trying to run out right there. A lot of contact, and the official on this side is going to call Benj for too much contact. Benj says, he's pulling my jersey all night long, and you're going to call me for that?
Yeah. That was a half of a header from being a tie score right there. That defender just got enough of that little chip shot that was going to be going to Benj over the top that saved them a goal, because I have no doubts that he was going to be putting that one in the back of the net one-on-one with the goalie.
Little move through, and the officials are letting the grab and go. That has not changed here yet tonight. Is Dowling going to cycle back through? Pushing it ahead
Nice
on the
ball.
run out, look out all the way down through.
Dockendorf's all the way out. Gets back in a position.
The referee says play on. There's a lot of contact there in the penalty box.
Probably a makeup call for the Benj call. He knew that was a little bit dicey. He had to make sure that they didn't give that up. That would have been a penalty shot too, because it was definitely in the box.
Dowling on the attack now, slides one through.
Oh, somebody took that right off the face.
And it is going to be a corner kick. Correct, or is that a goal kick?
Gloviak is the one that took that one off the noggin. I think it's going to be a throw-in. Yeah, I think it's going to be a throw-in. Looks like it's going to be a throw-in from Nope, it is going to be a... What is he doing here? Looks like he's pointing. It's going to be a throw-in, just really deep throw-in.
Ankeny wants to get out there since it's been such an emphasis on concussion management, and they had Gloviak take a huge shot off the head and still have him out there playing. The coaches are asking if they can go out, but have not been granted that permission.
Oh, Benj going to get the ball in some space.
Benj weaves his way through, tries
nice
to
ball, nice
ahead.
ball.
Jimenez on the far side. Jimenez starting to run out of room, and he kicks it out of bounds.
It's going to be a corner. Going to be a
Dowling,
corner,
that will be a corner kick for the Hawks.
At the very least, nice job of Jimenez to draw that corner kick. The substitution should be allowed to be coming in because it is, he looks like he's... All right, so he's explaining the reason why he did not stop the game for the head injury. He said he talked to the individual player. The player said no, he was fine and ready to keep going. We have number 11 and number 19, Newhart, going back into the game, and Kobo coming back into the game for the Hawks.
So the corner kick from the Hawks as they push it through.
Oh, almost on goal.
Was that off the hands of Kuhn?
It was off Kuhn. That was going in.
And that would have been
an Olympico.
The goal Olympico right there. I saw one of those last year in a girls' game. Bent that like Beckham. He had a lot of English on that one and curled it right in.
Initially I thought he was going to hit the side of the goal from where it went. But, another nice little ball there. Yankees really ramped up the probing here. They're definitely going to see if they can try to get some. We'll see. Well, I think there's two things that we're going to be seeing here. Is that how this Ankeny offense is going to be able to keep probing, trying to get that equalizer, but in the same breath, we're going to have to be looking really closely how Dowling is going to be trying to counterattack as this offense is moving towards the Ankeny goal.
And we talked about how conditioning might come into play right now, and as you look out there, you see Krosky looks like he's cramping up right now. He's trying to stretch out his right calf. This cold air as you get moving around, and the second you stop, that just makes your muscles tense up, and Krosky just sitting down right in front of the Ankeny bench right now, but they're waiting for a natural stoppage in play, and still Krosky is still sitting down over there, and they're going to have to find a sub for him as he's stretching out that right calf. And boy, once that starts, that is really hard to work out.
But it's something we see in those first couple games for football as well.
Yep.
You know, the cramps or
just for different reasons. Though, right now
exertion,
it's a lot more because of the cold weather.
Cold weather and exertion. You know, just getting to a point where those muscles are just starting to fail.
14:21 to go in this one. A couple more substitutions come in the game, and it will be, I believe, Dowling ball.
Yeah, it should be a drop ball at the spot when he blew the whistle. So it looks like he's going to drop that ball right there to put it into play.
Maroons trying to push one ahead, and they've been playing a lot of defense in this second half here. They push one over here on the left side. Molina has it knocked out of there. Mendes chasing that ball all over the field.
He's really been the spark.
He has been. He's really been his body everywhere.
Now, Grady, did he have a brother that played last year as well, or years ago? No, he's a single. Okay, I thought I remembered some brothers that played for Ankeny a couple years ago.
Mendes has been fun to watch, though, as he just. And he does it without being reckless. He's got control of everything he's doing out there.
Yeah, he's a senior there, midfielder forward.
Dowling tries to push one through once again. The header goes in, and a great connection there for Dowling. That was April to Ramirez. Ethan April connects with a header to Ramirez, and that's going to be tough to overcome for the Hawks. That was pretty from a soccer perspective. April put that right where it needed to be.
Now one of the coaches from Dowling turned around and screamed, "That's a sophomore" for the score. She yelled it at the student section for Ankeny, so I imagine the Ankeny student sections is giving it right to them as well, so I imagine there's been some conversations.
Right behind the Dowling bench the entire time, so I'm sure there's, like you said, a lot of conversations going on there.
Still a lot of time on the clock. Still got went under the 13-minute mark.
And we've seen some quick scores.
Oh yeah, because it very easily could be 3-3 right now, and 3-4 actually now that they've got that extra score. But
here it is again as they push it ahead, but not able to connect there. But you're also getting in now a position when you're Ankeny trying to score a couple goals where you might be getting
get yourself out of position.
Yeah, get yourself out of defensive position too. Ooh. Just heard that cleat to the shin guard.
Yeah.
A smack. As the official tells Loader that he needs to get up and play on.
Yep.
Big swing taken at it and headed out of there by the Maroons. First game of the year for each of these teams, and obviously It's plenty of good to take away from both these teams, Austin, as we watch
positivity
tonight. And
for sure.
not nearly the sloppiness and the passing that we were expecting to see as things get started here tonight.
Yeah, sloppiness was the word I was looking for earlier when I said filthy or dirty. But yeah, the sloppiness was has really not been apparent tonight. We had a few instances of it, but both teams have really cleaned up their shape, have really cleaned up their passing accuracy. So it's been a fun night. I think both teams can take a lot of positives from this. Do we know the boys have not come out with rankings yet? Am I right on that?
No,
okay.
It'll be a while till the boys come out with the rankings. Girls had their first set of rankings. Of course, the Ankeny Hawkettes ranked number 1 to start the year. They've got that'll be fun to get out there and watch them this season. They fly around. And
they've even got a couple girls with injuries that they're going to hopefully be getting back and getting healthy too. Some of their starting players.
They play tomorrow at noon. They will take on Pleasant Valley, and Pleasant Valley historically very good as they get that head of Benj and knocked away. And that's going to be
a goal. It's going to be an own goal.
An own goal. That changes things a bunch.
So I think
it went off Kuhn and then it went off the Dowling defender.
I believe so. I believe it's going to be an own goal there. That there was just a lot of bodies right there. And I believe it went off a Kuhn, off of a save, and then off of one of the pursuing Dowling defenders. That changes everything. Now we've got a ton of time on the clock with 10 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here in the game. One score is definitely not insurmountable at this time.
So now Ankeny looking to get the ball back here, and they do. On the attack, and you feel like you're just a couple in, and Benj touches away from this game.
Nice
he was the
ball
one who
there.
caused it again. He was the one who caused it.
It was just pressure, yeah.
Injured player out on the field for Ankeny as Dowling pushes it ahead. The official, I'm not sure, now he's back up, so everyone is yelling at the official when he never saw anybody on the ground.
But there's no requirement for either team. There's a yellow card. That's going to be a yellow card. Now, who's getting that? Is that the guy who got the yellow card in the first? Is that 17?
That's a second yellow card.
That's the second yellow card. It's going to be a red card for 17.
Red card. Number 17, Luis Sedano.
So now the question is, are they going to be able to replace him for the yellow card? Are they going to be playing shorthanded for the rest of the game?
I'm not sure how that works.
I'm not sure either.
That'll be answered here in a second.
Because that changes everything, right?
Yep.
10 minutes of being a player up and having to get that one score.
So Sedano is not going away quietly, but now a huge opportunity, though, for Ankeny.
Yeah. And it looks like no replacement in the game.
No, they're going to play short-handed.
And a free kick here.
Right there and knocked out, and we're under 10 minutes to go right now. And Dowling clinging to a one-goal lead. This game got very interesting here in the last 2 minutes. Hawks pushing it here up the right side. That is McMillan.
Benj, going to get over the top of there and maybe drop in front of Benj, but
Just not quite enough on it. And we'll see how much conditioning comes into play here in these last 9 minutes.
There we go. Nice
Pushing
ball there.
Once again, and they say he was onside. Opportunity here and cutting it off there.
It's going to be a corner kick. It's going to be a corner kick. That's going to be a corner kick. Yeah, absolutely a corner kick.
Corner kick, Ankeny.
Now the physicality started to get ramped up once again.
Yeah, they are playing a man down. So is that substitution? The substitution is going to come off, and somebody else is coming on. So they are a man down. That's going to be number 10 for the Hawks, taking that to corner kick. That's Wahlberg.
Pushes it through and knocked out of there. Hawks set things back through the middle once again, and Dowling's going to have to sit there and take it right now. The Ankeny's going to have some chances. They tried to sneak one through to Lundberg, couldn't quite do it.
Dude, Jimenez is all over the field right now. He is playing like an attack or a defending midfielder right now, but he's moving back over into the attacking midfielder right now.
Chance once again. Dowling might just be trying to ice the puck a little bit here right now.
Absolutely.
Ball cycled back through once again to Dockendorf. Hawks with a little bit of buzz in the stadium right now here at Northview Middle School in Ankeny. Cycling back around here, McMillan on the touch, pushing you up through the middle. They try to put it ahead. What a foot. Here is
Benj has got an opportunity.
Benj right there. Benj and knocked
Another
out the
corner
back
kick.
end, and that will be another corner kick. That was a huge foot put on that ball by Krosky back here from over 60 yards away, and he put that ball just perfectly in front of Benj.
Benj and 3 defenders.
Yes.
Running, screaming down the field.
Here comes the corner. And over the goal and out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for Dowling with 6.5 minutes to play.
Got a couple substitutions coming in for the Maroons. It's going to be number 10, Molina, one of the goal scorers tonight. And then Sullivan, I believe, getting back into the game. Yep.
Placing number 7, Santi Ramirez, number 8, Freddie Alvarado.
Big kick again. Hawks. They just keep pressing and pressing and pressing, and you just feel like they're about to find a crack out there.
That's a legal play right there. You can't be boxing out without the ball there.
Back through the middle once again. Hawks going to try to set things up here as we approach the 5-minute mark of this second half, and you know they can move things in a heartbeat. Right there. There's an opportunity once again for the Hawks. Here they come again. Sullivan with a big touch for Dowling. Back to the middle they go. Wheeling around. Look out. Starting to clump up a little bit. Lost some of the spacing, and then a nice shot there, but thwarted. Wahlberg couldn't knock it in. Kuhn has been really, really good in goal tonight. Both these goalies have had a lot of shots taken at them tonight. Hawks get moving once again. Under 5.
Let me continue to thank our league sponsors, Jimmy Jones, JP Party Rentals, Lamberti, Murphy, and Sean, Nate's Construction Company, Oliver, Sandy Photography, Sports Page Grill, The Concrete Company.
Long kick in there, Benj over the top, and oh! Did it go in the goal or not? The goal is open, and Kuhn is on the ground. The goalkeeper is down on the ground, hurt. The goal is wide open right
He's
now.
got to kick it out of bounds.
Kuhn is still on the ground. He is out. He went right into the post. And they were calling us. The goal was open for a long time as Kuhn went head first into the post. They're bringing the trainer to look at him. He's moving right now, but he got the save. I thought the shot made the net move, and Kuhn is back up. But he went into that post down there in the corner, and that was a huge opportunity with the net wide open for the Hawks. .4:17 to go.
So what's the call here? This is interesting because Ankeny had so Dowling was kicking the ball out of bounds. It should not be a drop ball to Dowling. I guess so. That would be correct. So the referee's going where he blew the whistle at, and Dowling was setting up to send that ball out of bounds to call the end of play.
Ahead they go once again. That Dowling back end defense is played very tough against a goal scorer like Benj. He's got 2 tonight, and has a lot of credit for the third.
Yeah,
He won't officially go down as his.
Yeah, he was the reason for the third.
Little set up here. They toss it over the top. Benj right there, the header, and that's going to go out of bounds, out of the back end of the pitch.
As Grady just pointed out, there may be some situations where they may be pulling a goalie up into the offensive zone to try to get the scores in here.
Let's see what they do. It's Dowling that's looking like Dowling will have the substitutions coming in. I think this is more about using time when they have the chance to do it coming up.
Absolutely.
As they want it right now as well. That little gamesmanship there is Ankeny with Gloviak. Looks around. Again, a chance. They want to see if they can connect with Benj, and then that's taken away. Gloviak sticks a hard foot out there. Takes it away again. Hawks on the attack. Gloviak wiggles his way through. Opportunity here for Wahlberg. And just draws a ton of attention. Good solid foot, and then knocked out of there by Sullivan.
Penalty?
And there's a penalty there on Ankeny on the slide tackle. Good, great show of sportsmanship right there as Benj is right there to pick up Sullivan after the hard slide. As we approach now 2 minutes to play. Ankeny going to have to press right now. Clock continues to run. Long kick up over the top. Quickly back the other way, look out, and just off target there as they try to get it ahead to Benj. Back they go once again, and there to get it once again is Kuhn. Kuhn can take some time getting rid of this one. 90 seconds to play. Fans got their price of admission tonight.
Jimenez
Big
right there in the
jump,
middle.
Mendes pushes it ahead, and a little miscommunication about who's going to go get it for the Maroons, and finally Kuhn comes out and gets it. And again takes his time. Maybe just a couple more opportunities here for the Hawks. And there's one of them taken away. Again, Dowling content to just ice the puck right now and get a big foot into it. As that goes out of bounds, and they quickly waste no time throwing it in.
This will be the last gasp right here with 40 seconds left to go on the clock.
And that's going to make it
Send
even
it down.
harder.
Dockador's going to have to launch this one.
He does, and he chooses to play it short. And now we're under 30 seconds. As that sneaks through. And out of bounds, it is going to go to Dowling, and that's going to make Dowling can pretty much use up the clock here right now. As under 14 seconds to go, and they just chuck it all the way down here to the other end. As they wiggle through, and Austin, very, very entertaining game tonight. Dowling's going to come away with a hard-fought 4-3 win. Maroons move on to 1-0 on the year. Ankeny will begin the year 0-1. And what a start to the CIML season in our boys soccer coverage this year.
Yeah, referee is going to get a good talking to one of the Ankeny defenders. Was giving him the business towards the end of the game there, and making sure he understands he can't do that for next time. But yeah, I think offensively, or I think both teams could come out of this game in a real strong place. Obviously, Ankeny's going to be pretty dejected with the 4-3 loss here, but I think they got a lot of positives to take into the rest of the season here as they move forward.
So we'll be back tomorrow morning, tomorrow at noon. You'll be there as Ankeny girls take on Pleasant Valley, and we'll continue our diving headfirst into the soccer season right now with 6 games over the first 4 days of the season. We got it all coming for you, and we'll be here all season long on the Ankeny Activities Network, built by the Danielle Seifert Real Estate Team. For Grady Anderson and Austin Oliver, I'm Andy Pollock, and we can't wait to have you guys join us again for more coverage here in the near future. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
No matter how hard I try, I cannot come up with any place I'd rather call home than Ankeny. We raised our family here, so when it came time to downsize, I knew there was no place for me but Ankeny. From unique shops to incredible restaurants, there's always something new to explore, and it's all just a few minutes away. Building my home here with Caliber was one of the best decisions I've ever made. If you're thinking about making a move, let me help you find your perfect home. You'll fall in love with Ankeny just like I have. Let's talk soon.